Literacy is a human right. However, according to UNESCO, almost 800 million people around the world can't read nor write. At home, in an effort to deal with the problem, a 2-year program has been launched to improve literacy at schools in KwaZulu-Natal, the Eastern Cape, as well as the Limpopo provinces. To mark International Literacy Day, we speak to Unisa's UNESCO Chair, Professor Moeketsi Letseka. Prof, thank you for your time and good morning to you. Let's talk about the literacy rate in South Africa and give it a more South African context. What are we looking at here?
Well, the literacy in South Africa has to be understood from the point of view of our history. You have to go back, and I know a lot of young people are tired of the history, but if we can't get a grip of that history, then we are not going to have any idea of where we are going. You have to go back to the 1950s, the 1960s, go back to the passing by the apartheid government of the Bantu Education Act, and just think about what that act did. That act excluded a large portion of society, the African people. I mean, if you go into the Statistics South Africa reports and you look at the demographics, you'll be clear that this country has over 60 million people, and 80.8% of those are Africans. And this is the majority that were excluded from the benefits of good education through Bantu education. That created conditions for a minority to have quality education, and the education of the Bantus or the blacks at the time, or us people, Africans, to be an education that was below par. So what we are seeing right now are remnants of an apartheid system that has ravaged society. So this country is one of those. We do have a reasonable literacy. I think it's just between 65 and 70. But what does it mean?
Right.
It means everybody can read and write, but not many people can transcend the most complex concepts that actually shape how we think and how we contribute to society.
Yeah, so let me ask you this then, Prof. I mean, with over, I think, approximately 40 years going on now that UNESCO has, raised awareness around literacy efforts being made to ensure that the human right for literacy, which is a human right for all, is achieved. Why is it still an unaccomplished goal?
Well, our country is a typical example. We talk about over 24 years since we transitioned from apartheid to democracy. But you and I know that nothing tangible has taken place. This is a country which is fraught with corruption, which is fraught with scandals, which is fraught with failure to deliver basic services to mankind: water, sanitation, education, you name it, health. So it's a classic case throughout the entire African continent. During nationalism in the 1960s, people came to power, the colonialists were removed, and our own people got into power. And what did they do? They became corrupted. They lacked that focus of saying, why are we holding public offices? We hold public offices because we make a commitment. We have been given a mandate to deliver the basic services to society. So South Africa is one of those countries that is a failing democracy. We need to take charge and own that narrative. We are a failing democracy. We are where we are right now. We are ruled by a government of our own people, our own blacks, but this is a government that has failed dismally to deliver the services to the people. So that's why we are still in that state where we're still struggling. Lots of people still live in shambles, in squalor, in informal settlements, in the townships where the schools are dysfunctional. So we are not able to deliver that mandate of achieving the acceptable norm in the global sense of literacy, where not everybody else, we measure a person because they can read and write. But that they have achieved a modicum, let's say, of a tertiary qualification where they can reason at a particular level.
All right, Prof, very briefly, in less than 20 seconds, I'm going to ask you Gareth's most famous question to professors on this show. What do we do about this? Because I know that government has launched a campaign back in February of 2008 with the intention of obviously enabling about 4.7 million South Africans and adults above the age of 15 years to become literate. It's 2021 now. How do we move forward? In less than 20 seconds, please.
It's rhetorical. We need to get rid of rhetoric. We need to put people in government that understand and know what they're there for. We need to get educationists to manage education. We need to get economists to manage the economy. We need to get doctors to manage health. you understand that we need to put technocrats in government, and they need to uphold that policy of delivery of services to the people and not to enrich themselves. Nothing more, nothing less.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Professor Moeketsi Letseka.